From the writer of 1984 and the writer of Anthem comes a world where man struggles upon which his life is determined. Feast your eyes on the battles man will encounter along his journey to happiness as he faces off against self, others, and society. How will this tale of the taking end? Well, that's for you to find out for yourself. Coming to theaters and IMAX near you. You have just viewed my English media component for the C.C.T, and you've probably got a lot of questions floating around in your head at the moment, so let's get started. The first 9.5 seconds of the video is actually made up of 104 different images that I've made up individually in order to have made this short animated cartoon at the beginning of my trailer. I decided to make this cartoon because I remembered that Miss Oliver attempted several times in class to emphasize the fact that she would appreciate creativity in our assignments. She said on at least 2 occasions, "I want you to take your creativity and splat onto the screen." With this acquired information, I decided to format and plan a non-violent, very brief cartoon doodled animation of this statement she referred to. The rest of the pictures in my video were simply searched on Google and applied to the video. For some images with words in them, I used the Windows Movie Maker program to edit the motion of the text. The first 2 pictures I included were simply of the covers of the 2 novels that are being compared. The third picture is an image of the Earth from space. I thought this image was significant in order to elaborate on the idea that the 2 separate worlds portrayed in the 2 novels under discussion, that are Anna Rand's Anthem and George Orwell's 1984, and how both of the worlds in those novels appear to some of us to be non-existent in our world that we live in today. The fourth picture I decided to include is a picture of Justin Bieber with a very confused and shocking facial expression at this current moment. This picture is very valid in my video as it is immediately will grab the attention of the audience I am targeting with this trailer, which is a teen audience around the ages of myself. Justin Bieber is a very loved and hated individual in today's society. Everyone knows his name and has a specific governed judgment they've made about him without even knowing him, and so an image of Justin Bieber exemplifies a modern-day struggling man. The facial expression is also noted as very important as it personifies his initial reactions to the struggles he faces in his everyday life against society, just like the struggles that Equality 72521 in Anthem and Winston in 1984 faced, who are the 2 main characters in the 2 novels. The next image is an image of fire with the word struggle displayed in it. This image plays a significant role in my video as it represents the seriousness and danger involved when battling against self and others and society. When a fire emerges in front of a person, the first initial thing they think of to do is to avoid it, obviously, at all costs. This means going around the fire or in the opposite direction of the fire. This is also what people often choose to do when battling oneself, others, or society. The average person would rather avoid the confrontation in order to gain what they believe is happiness for the best possible move for them to make in order to further themselves in some way, shape, or form. Think about it. This is very similar to how Winston and Equality 72521 choose to live their lives. They prefer to try and go around the fire, that is the battle against self, others, and society, and attempt to remain under the radar for as long as possible in order to achieve the maximum amount of self-happiness. The next image is an image of a mountain with a small stick man drawn on the side of the mountain and the word life at the top of the mountain and the word death at the bottom of the mountain. This picture is very important as it once again exemplifies the struggle man faces when battling against self, others, and society, which is life and death. Man will fight for life, avoid it as much as possible, obviously. However, if man falls, he will die regardless of how hard he fought to live. Just like Winston in 1984. However, in Anthem, Equality 72521 is able to push even further for his happiness and ends up ends Anna Rand's novel off on a much happier note than Orwell's 1984, as it is clear that Equality 72521 lives, where in Orwell's 1984 it is not clear if Winston lives or not. The next image I chose to include in my trailer is a picture of people sitting in a movie theater. This image is not as valuable as the other images, but it is still important as it indulges the audience members to look at themselves as an individual. As I state in the trailer, feast your eyes. By applying the word your into this quote, individualism is acknowledged here, thus appealing to the audience as a whole as important individuals. The next image also appeals to the audience, as it is a man staring in the mirror with a dismayed facial expression. I can imagine the majority of the population in North America take a look at themselves in the mirror at least once a day, possibly sometimes with a dismayed facial expression as well. This image exemplifies the battles against oneself, how to find happiness from within, and how to make one happy. Very similar to the battles Equality 72521 and Winston faced throughout their respective novels. The next image is almost a comedic inspired image, as it is a picture of Iron Man versus the Hulk. This picture displays the battle against man versus man, a battle that is quite evident as well in both novels Anthem and 1984. This next image is quite a popular one. It is of a man standing in front of several army tanks by himself. It exemplifies the battle between man and society, a battle that is perhaps the most aggressive in the two novels under discussion. It is impossible for Winston in Equality 72521 to be internally happy living under the rule of their separate societies. This next image is also comedically inspired, as it is of several men being pushed into a pool. It may seem that this picture is very irrelevant, however it portrays the actions taken upon the two characters Winston and Equality 72521, as they are aggressively pushed into uncomfortable scenarios, as are the men in this picture. This next picture is a picture of an older man running. I chose an older man for this picture in order to emphasize the fact that these struggles that man faces against self, others, and society take a long time to overcome, if they can even be overcome. Winston in 1984 is not able to overcome his struggles, unfortunately, but Anthem's Equality 72521 most definitely is, by the end of the novel, happy. Finally, the last picture I chose to include is of a man running away from a cloud of smoke and debris. Again, this picture's purpose is to emulate the dangers involved in battling through these struggles. I've enjoyed putting this video together for you. I hope you appreciate all the work and effort I've put in this video as much as I do. Thanks for watching.